guys have done it again, introducing Coley AI. It's just as simple as you typing in something and the creation comes to life right before your eyes. And look, it's available to you right now. Click the link at the top line of the description box right now. This is the most amazing app ever.
Special guest in the building.
Yes.
Our man Kel Mitchell's on the podcast. How you doing today, family?
Man, blessed up. What's up, y'all?
Hey, man, it's blessed to have you here, man. Definitely a legend. I know we be making our family mad as hell when they see some of the guests we have on here. This is going to be one of them, man, because you're definitely somebody that we looked at in our household and definitely enjoyed watching.
And
man.
learning from, the ups and downs. Like a lot of things that the kids are going through is like really focusing on the mistakes of life or what's really happening in the struggle and all those things like that. And when you look at life and you go, okay, I accept that there's going to be ups and downs in life, right? And when you accept that there's going to be ups and downs, and you understand that, then God will get you through the down times. You know what I mean? And you can like really focus and, in the down times, you can go, okay, I can get through this. I can have my faith through this and I can know that I can make it through because, the mind is crazy. I always say like with our mind, we are literally, time travels with our mind. Like we can be sitting here doing nothing, but our mind is traveling, meaning that we're thinking about past mistakes. We're thinking about what we want to have happen in the future. We're thinking about all the things that are going on. And sometimes we just need to step back and really look at the moment and hold every thought accountable. Like, do I really need to dwell on my mistake or something that happened in my life? Do I really need to talk about this person in an unkind way? Do I really need to respond in this way? You know what I mean? And just kind of really look at it like that. And then also turn to God in that moment. And when you do that, that's when you can say, you know what? Nah, I don't need to, respond in a negative way or respond in a negative way to myself. A lot of us, there's a lot of things that are going on as far as, mental health, where it's like you can't just really dwell on past mistakes. There's no mistakes. It's just lessons.
Yeah.
It's just lessons, man. People ask me that all the time. Like, yo, Kel, if you could go back and tell your younger self something. And it's just like, for me, everything that I went through was a lesson. You know what I mean? It's all lessons. Mm-hmm. And when you look at it like that, it's like, okay, yeah, I can get through this. Yeah.
Let's go back to your childhood a little bit, man. And grew up on the south side of Chicago.
Hey.
First of all, how was that? And how did you make the transition from growing up to the south side of Chicago to all of that?
Yeah, man, I grew up on the south side of Chi. You know what I mean? I love Chicago. A lot of great art out there, a lot of great people. I was a b-boy as well. You know what I mean? I was into a lot of hip hop. I was a graffiti artist as well. Okay. I put, I was bombing the trains, all that stuff. And so break dance and all those different things. And so hip hop was a big thing that really helped me in my life as far as like, because, it was gang banging out there too. I grew up on the south side. So there was a lot of gang banging. I had, friends that were gang banging, and then I had friends that were going to church. So I had the church, and then I also, had seen the gang world, too. But hip hop was something that really I really gravitated towards, and I, got with that crew instead of gang banging and things like that. And in the church was also helping me as well because, my parents made sure I stayed with that. But yeah, in the Chi, man, another thing that really helped me out was getting into acting. That was a big one, getting into acting. It was a community theater in Chicago. And my parents were like, okay, he's getting to that age where it's like he's getting in trouble in school. He's a class clown and he got friends in all different directions. We want to make sure he has a good outlet. So they tried everything, man. They tried playing the guitar, all these different activities, football, all this different stuff. And what really stuck was me doing theater. And I did it for one summer and I fell in love with the art of acting. It was like, yo, this is it right here. This is what I've been waiting for. And it was a good outlet for me. So it was more of an outlet. I didn't look at it like, oh, yo, I'm about to be on TV. You know what I mean? I didn't look at it like that or I'm trying to do this. It was a good outlet. And that's why I always support community theater, the arts, the youth, doing something positive within the community, because it really definitely helped me. And yeah, man, I just started doing plays at night, so I wasn't acting up in school as much, because I was literally acting with adults, putting on like actual plays after school, drama plays. I know I've been into comedy, but yeah, I was doing that, and just fell in love with it, and then ended up doing work in downtown Chicago. Mm-hmm. So like, if you were in New York, that's like equivalent to like doing stuff on Broadway. You know what I mean? So I was started doing theater in downtown at Victory Gardens Theater, Goodman Theater, and stuff like that. And was making a name for myself in theater, and I got an agent. And yeah, actually, my first job, I modeled for Captain Crunch, which was kind of, I tell people I was a model first, but but yeah, man, that was fun. That was a great moment for me. And then a lot of auditions. So shout out to the parents that have kids that want to act and things like that, because my parents were very supportive with taking me on these auditions, and you win some, you lose some. You know what I mean? A lot of doors, got closed, but it's like one door gets shut, another one opens. You know what I mean? And so, all that came along, and it was sketch comedy, and it was literally like go up in there and make them laugh, And I literally walked in the room, and I was in high school at this point. So I always tell people when I got on TV, it was time to get a job anyway. So I was in high school, and yeah, man, I just did a whole bunch of impersonations in the room, but I did people like that I saw on the, on the L train, and my uncles and all this stuff. Like I did Ed in the room. You know what I mean? I was just like all these characters, man, and just they gravitated towards it, man. Yeah.
All that at the time, I know we were kids, but Nick at Night was shit. We had Doug, you had Rugrats, all that. Are You Afraid of the Dark? It was dope, and all that in particular reminded me of In Living Color years before. Yeah. Just with children, you know what I'm saying? And it was very relatable to us, because you got Keenan, you got brothers on there, and there's somebody that we could look at and go, damn, we can identify with that. So we automatically went and gravitated towards you two. How was that? Did you understand at the time what kind of cultural impact you were making with that show? Because even from the music, it was really hip hop influenced, and you really inspired a lot of brothers and sisters out there growing up.
Yeah, man. It was like when we were doing it, it was like we were just kids having fun, because at the beginning it was just supposed to be a special. It wasn't even supposed to be a series. So they were doing it as a special to see what happened, because at the time of Nickelodeon, they didn't even know that they wanted to go into this direction. And I'm happy you said In Living Color, because a lot of people, like compare it to SNL, which is true to format, but we really were very close to In Living Color.
Word.
You know what I mean? Because of especially the musical guests and stuff like that we had on. And at the time I was rapping too as well. I had my group, so that was cool. They let us perform on there. But to answer your question, after a while we really did start to see that, because we were just like, yo, like, it's very diverse show. You know what I mean? We had Puerto Ricans on the show, blacks on the show. It was awesome. And then, I grew up in a very pro-black family. So, we knew immediately, like, okay, you're a role model. You know what I mean? Already. You know what I mean? So, Kel, how you go into everything and how you answer in these interviews, and, just know the kids are looking at you. And for me, it was like, man, I'm doing this for my city. I'm doing this for the South Side of Chicago. And it's been awesome. Like, even to this day, for people to still be loving Good Burger. Like, I just saw a kid that went viral. He's 5 years old and had a Good Burger party, you know what I mean, in Atlanta. And I mean, he wasn't even born when that you know what I mean? But he's sitting there, welcome to Good Burger, the whole thing, and the whole family's there. So it's been a blessing and an amazing ride. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Now that was so successful. All that Good Burger came out of that. Talk about that, them taking one segment and making a movie and having success with the movie, Good Burger.
Yeah, man. So with that, like I said, I did the Ed voice in the audition in Chicago. And then, when we went and auditioned in LA and had to just do all these different characters, and they were like, yo, we want to take that voice and put it in something. So they put it in like this sketch called Dream Remote, where it was me and Josh. And he had a remote control that could control his parents and stuff. So he had a pizza come really, really fast. And I came to the door and I was like, yo, here's your pizza. And so I used the voice finally, and they were like, yo, we need to do something with that. And then the writers, they sat down and changed it into Good Burger. So it wasn't a pizza place anymore. And they really like gave Ed a whole entire world. And that was the sketch where like every musical guest was there. It was a cool way to introduce the guest for that night. Everybody started being in those sketches. It kind of really took off. We did the All That and More soundtrack. Shout out to that because I ended up being on the Billboard charts with that. I had a song with Shorter at the time. So that was bomb. And so that was cool. And it just took off. And then they were like, yo, let's do a movie for Good Burger. And Kenan had already done like Mighty Ducks and stuff like that. So he already had movies even before all that started. Right. And so for me, this was like my big film. You know what I mean? I had done some like independent stuff, but this was like really big. So I was super excited about it. It was dope, you know, and to do the movie and have all those like people in it, you know what I mean? It was like Parliament and you know what I mean? Shaq and just like, it was off the chain. Yeah.
Now, all of the success was great, but did you ever have a point in time where it got frustrating, kind of almost being typecasted, or where you felt like you were typecasted as Ed as the years went on?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know if it was more of typecasting or more of adulting, you know, at that time. Because what happens is that they see you as a young actor, and then there's a time where they start looking and they're going, okay, well, because this role is so iconic and all this stuff is so iconic, it's like I can't see him like older, and I still look young. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I was trying to go out for the dramatic roles, or I was trying to go out for a different type of role, like, and they were just like, oh no, you're too young, or you still look like Nickelodeon. You know what I mean? So that did happen at times. But I feel like you always have to still stay creative, stay creative throughout it. You know what I mean? One thing that I did was that even when all that stopped and Kenan and Kel stopped, there was a time where it was like, okay, what's my next move? Me and Kenan were both thinking that. And we were like, okay, what's the next move? Kind of looking at it like chess. And the thing about it was, I remember Marlon Wayans had told me, he was like, yo, if they don't want to give you the roles, you do it yourself. You start writing your own stuff. I mean, I respected and live in color. And, all these just, Robert Townsend and all these amazing people that I was like, yo, yeah, they wrote this stuff themselves. They put it out themselves. So I started putting out my own things. Back when DVDs were popping, I started writing my own films and putting out my own sketches and stuff like that, and putting out my own DVDs, and it was taking off. And so I thank God for those times, because it's like, you get the progress and the abundance through the struggle. You know what I mean? So as you're sitting there trying to figure out what the next move, these amazing things happened out of it. So that's piggyback to what I was talking about with those ups and downs.
Right.
You know what I mean? You learn from it. It's a lesson. So, and that spawned me being a director, me directing music videos, me directing, doing plays and all this stuff that I started to do and becoming a writer. So, yeah, man, you just kind of got to look at it like a lesson. This is a marathon as far as like this career, and life is that right. too as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah,
I want to get to how you found your faith as well, because I know you were on a story about pretty much hitting a rock bottom, in your life after all this success. Can you take us back through that and your issues with your wife and almost being broke to going, to getting a call from somebody that took you into your faith?
Yeah. Okay. Well, you kind of mashed that all up into one, but yeah. There's a thing where I feel like we put up emotional walls, right? So throughout life, you know what I mean? Like it's a whole bunch of things that you go through. And I went through a lot, like as you see through the entertainment business, there was a time where I was trying to like figure out, okay, does this person like me for me? Are they my friend for this? Or is it just because I'm on television? And trying to really find your place in the entertainment business, and finding your place as you're adulting while you're on television at the same time. And then there's past things that you haven't dealt with in your life as well. So I went through, suicide, and I went through, substance abuse, and I went through a divorce and all those different things. You know what I mean? And so, but within that's what I'm talking about. Like within that and within those times, these were lessons for me. And so I ended up going back to my faith that was already introduced to me at a young age, because my parents kept me in the church. And it was literally like I went back to the Lord at that point. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take myself out of here because of the mistakes that I had made in life or the things that were going on in life that were stressful, where I felt like the whole, like all this different stress that I was feeling. And I was just trying to find like an end to it. Like, how can I get through this, Lord? Like, how can I get through all this suffering? And the Lord is like, you don't even know what I have for you up ahead. You just have to endure. You know what I mean? You have to endure through it all. And when you're going through tough times, man, when you're going through tough times and you're going through tough things, within those times, you're really asking yourself like, man, why me? But I know why I went through the tough things that I went through, because now I could be a testimony to others. There's so many brothers that I've helped. You know, I've talked to juvie homes. I've talked to, youth. I've talked to brothers in high school. You know, I went back to Chicago, talked to people there. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I understand why I had to go through all the things that I went through so I could help others. You know, I'm one of those people where it's like, you know, I want to tell my story and want to be also, when I'm praying for someone or being around someone, I can help them because I've lived it. You know what I mean? You know, yeah. I've been through it. You know what I mean? So, and it doesn't matter really about the entertainment part of it, because for me, that's not what it's about. You see me, I want you to see the Christ in me. I want you to see that. And that's the reason why I still stayed acting and also being a youth pastor as well, because, you know, we need it everywhere. You know, Christ went everywhere. You know what I mean? He just not on Sunday. You know what I mean? This is me every day, 24/7. And I want them to see that. You know what I mean? I would be doing people a disservice if I didn't let them know who got me through, and that's God. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I've been through a lot of ups and downs and been through a lot of things. And then, you know, I got remarried. I got my best friend, my beautiful wife. I got my kids. You know what I mean? And it's just it's a beautiful time. Yeah.
Dope, yeah. Indeed. We we've been very, very blessed to have a number of actors and actresses on here throughout the last year or so, and we asked a lot of them their journey through Hollywood as a black man or female, black man or woman, through their journey, and we were interested to hear that. So I'm very interested to hear yours, because you started off as a childhood star, you know what I mean, at the top of your game, and you had some ups and downs. And how were you looked at, or how did you feel like you were looked at as a black man? How was your journey as a black man through Hollywood?
You know what I mean? For me, as an artist and growing up, I didn't really deal with any racism or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? As far as that, as being a black man, it's just like, for me, with growing up in this industry, I think it's a thing where you just have to look at your choices. Like, look, we can, you know, we have free will. We can, you know, have the power to make choices, but, you know, there's consequences from every choice that we make. And that's even with the jobs that we decide that we want to take, the career moves we want to take. And for me, it was really getting the right team behind me that understood the right way that I wanted to go. Like, in this industry, there were times when it was people, you know, in my ear coming up as a kid, you know, that would try to sway me to go a different way, you know what I mean, within things that I was doing. And so it's really about having the right team around you and you having a good sense of self. You know what I mean? Especially growing up within this business, because I grew up in it, you know, with being so young. Like when we bought all that back, because we've had the reboot of all that. Right. And when we had the 8 kids that were there, these new 8 kids, I was like, the Lord told me, yo, like, tell them something that you wish somebody told you, you know, when you were coming up in this in the beginning. And I told them, look, you were made amazing in your mother's womb. You know what I mean? This is not the thing that is going to make you be amazing or make you be this perfect person. This job is not that. You were already made perfect when you were born. So this is one part of your journey. This is what this is. This is one part of your journey. And this is going to be a long journey and a long career. And so I want you to understand that this is a job. And so that's the thing. I think when we were navigating through it, it was like these producers and people that I looked at, it was like, yo, this is my brother. This is my bro. This is forever. You know what I mean? Like, you know, these people that are, you know, like your directors and stuff like that. And then you feel blindsided when it's like, okay, the show's not as hot as it was, or something goes on. And then they ain't picking up the phone. And you're like, yo, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? And then you start going, whoa. But instead of that, revenge mode or that getting upset about it, these were things that I had to understand and navigate through life as I started to understand, where it's like, right, this was a career. This was a job. And when you have kids growing up in this business, that is a crazy mindset. So that's why you see a lot of young stars dealing with mental abuse and all those things like that, because they're really trying to navigate, am I the character or am I the man who I am? And then you got people that interview you or people that, watch you on television. All they know is the character. So they think that's you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So imagine that as a kid, as you're growing up dealing with all that, it'll mess with your mental. So I always say, like, look, when I talk to a young kid and I'm trying to get them to understand, because I've been through it, like, have a good sense of you and who you are, and know this is your character. This is a job. The character is not you. This is a job. You know what I mean? And I think when they have that mindset going into it, then it's like, oh, okay, I'm Gucci. I understand. There's going to be other things. And these kids got it. You know what I mean? When I told them that, and they're making it happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Curious to know, how was it, processing and dealing with fame at such an early age? How was that whole process, being like this star and then just living that life?
Yeah, that's the same thing, man. Like what I was talking about, where it's like you have to navigate a lot when the fame hits you, because it hits you quick. Like, like I said, this was a show where we didn't know it was going to hit as hard as it did, to the point where it was certain places we had to choose to go because, we would get chased and all this stuff like that, and people super excited. So as a kid, of course, you was loving it. But then at the same time, as we started to adult through it all, as we were going through it, it was just like, okay, got to be careful. I don't know who's out to do this or who's out to do that, and really trying to figure that out. But yeah, man, of course, it was awesome to be on one of the number one shows as a kid. As it was going on, it was just it was super awesome, and to be traveling and meeting all these people that you enjoy. Like I was in the hood listening to TLC, listening to Usher, listening to all these artists, and then now they're right in front of me on stage, and then it's dope. Like to still even now be friends with these people, it's super dope. You know what I mean?
Now all that went transitioned right into Kenan and Kel, which was like, I said that if all of that was a comparison to In Living Color, I'd say Kenan and Kel was a comparison to Wayans brothers. You two were like Sean and Marlon up there doing y'all thing, even though y'all were brothers. Like that's how I looked at it as a kid. How was that filming that show, and what happened? Why did that end?
So here was dope about it with Kenan and Kel. Kim Bass, who is also a brother, actually created that show, and a lot of people don't give him that credit, that he actually did that. It was actually based on a friendship that he had, growing up as a Black kid. And so he created that show and presented it to Nickelodeon. He also created the Sister Sister show as well. So that was dope as well. So yeah, Kenan and Kel in the Sister Sister show. And man, they approached us where it was like they saw me and Keenan, working, on set and off, and they saw the comedic timing. And usually we'll go on hiatus and go back home, in between filming for all that. And then they were like, yo, you know what? We want to have you guys stay because we got a show idea. And it's going to be more of a sitcom, not such a sketch. And it was like, all right, cool. Yeah, let's do it. And we stayed back, did that show, and it took off as well. So now you had a situation where we were doing all that in Kenan and Kel, and sometimes at the same time juggling it at the studio. And it was just, it was awesome, man. It really took off. It was dope. Yeah. And as far as it ending, it just got to the point where it was the end of the contract. That's it. You know what I mean? It was like, it was no like, yo, we got to stop this, or it was a beef or anything like that. No, it was just, when you do these shows, they're contractually made for a certain amount of seasons. And it just got to a point where it was like, okay, y'all getting older. What are we going to do? We going to do Kenan and Kel in college, or are we going to do Kenan and Kel? You know what I mean? And so for me and Kenan, we were just trying to like, well, I don't know about, we didn't really know how we wanted to take it or where we wanted to take it. And the whole college thing didn't really work out. So, yeah, man, that's just what it was.
Are you guys like brothers, but like behind the scenes as well?
Yeah, man, we're both fathers now, man. And so it's awesome. Keenan has a podcast as well. I just did this podcast. What was that, like about 2 weeks ago? But about a month ago. But yeah, we are definitely still in contact, man. We talk all the time, mostly about, fatherhood, you know what I mean? And things like that. Our mothers are like best friends. So they're real cool. And, yeah, man, we all, we grew up together. So like we know each other and our family, and yeah, it's all love. Yeah.
I was listening to you talk about a story one time where you guys had like a little bit of a falling out, and it happens when you're young and you brothers and stuff. That kind of shit does happen. But it kind of made me think about when I was in the music game and one person gets pulled into one room and another person gets pulled into another room, and conversations start happening that the other doesn't know about. And things happen within the industry that kind of pull people apart.
Yeah.
Would that be the case in your scenario with Kel at the time, or Keenan at the time, excuse me?
Yeah, this is what I would say about that. Like, I feel like it's a lot of stuff on the internet that is definitely misconstrued. And, and if you see it, if you don't talk to us straight up, it's like people are like putting stories together and trying to figure out. And I always crack up because I'm like, yo, it's crazy of an impact. Because me and Keenan talk about that, of an impact we had, because people look at us like New Edition almost. Like it's almost like that. So it's kind of like it feels in that way, where it's like they watched us grow up together, but it was like literally like we were put together. That's the thing that I don't think people really understand. So we were put together on a sketch show with an ensemble of others. It's just the fact that we came together and our sketches just work together as well. And this is the job. So as you adult, I always talk about this as well. It's like, it's homies that you know from high school, and you might be cool with one or two, but are you cool with the whole classroom that you was rocking with? Right. You know what I'm saying? As you become adults, you know what I mean? And it's like, as Keenan and Kel, but then there's adult Kel and Keenan. And through that navigating of what we were doing, it was things that I was going through in my life, things he was going through in his life. And there was never a point where I was like, yo, forget dude. And he was like, forget him. It was really like we were both living our lives. You know what I mean? As far as like, okay, we need to build a foundation for what's the next step and what's our family and what it is going to be. And I think fans just didn't want to accept the fact that, yo, these are grown men. You know what I mean? So it was just like, even now people be like, what you do? You ain't supposed to be here. You this age. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I think that's what was happening through it all, and when we had like we actually had to talk about everything. And when we had to talk about everything, it was like, all right, yeah, man, I was going through this when you was doing this. And I was going through this when you was doing this. And it was still this brotherhood, which was dope because of the fact where it was just like, my man's busy, I'm busy. You know what I mean? At the same time. And it wasn't like, I guess everybody was just looking for a choice or an angry thing. And, a lot of times people look for that within media anyway, and a lot of titles in front of media. But if you actually look at the interview and then you see what I actually said, then you go, oh, okay. I see they were just doing clickbait. Gotcha. You know what I mean? Word. Yeah. Yeah.
We ask, we get a ton of actors that come on the show, and we always ask, especially Black ones, about the whole, dressing up as a woman or even playing a homosexual role. I think it was a role in Good Burger where they had you guys like put like a wig on. I'm not sure about the attire. Do you ever regret that? And what are your feelings about, Black men wearing dresses in Hollywood?
Man, it's like, here's what's funny about that. It's like Tom Hanks had a TV show called Bosom Buddies. You know what I mean? And I don't think people really go back and look at that. And they're trying to make it a black and white thing. If a black man in a dress, then it's the Illuminati. It's you know what I mean? Like, they're just coming up with all this stuff, bro. And it's just like, yo, the internet is like a dark hole, man. It's like, it was a role. It was like, if you look at what we were doing, we were literally trying to sneak into Mondo Burger. So what was the idea to sneak into Mondo Burger? Oh, let's go as two older women. They would not know that it's Ed and that it's Dexter. Let's go in there. I don't think it was a thing of let's put two Black young men into these dresses, and then now they're in these dresses, this is going to change their career, and now a gate is open. No, Like, you know what I'm saying? Because if that is the case, me and Keenan both still had to navigate throughout our careers. So there wasn't like a thing of that nature. I think, like I said, it's a choice. You know, if you feel like you don't want to do that anymore, then cool. Like with Keenan on SNL, was like they didn't want to. He was tired of playing women, so he said, "Why don't y'all hire some black women?" And so I don't have to do that anymore. And I think that was a good choice by him to say that. And now, you know, we got Leslie Jones and all these amazing black women that are on SNL now. So it's really a choice within that. You know what I mean? That's all it is. Yeah.
They definitely appreciate your perspective on this and appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
A few more questions I got. I don't know how many more we got left, but your outreach, your ministry, your youth pastor. Talk about that a little more and elaborate on what you got going on now and in the future.
Yeah, man. Me being a youth pastor is very important to me. I want to show people my faith. I want to show people another way. It's like, you know, it's crazy. Like when you talk to a lot of youth, or you even talk to people that are just going through it, a lot of people put up a mask and, you know, not really show what they're really going through. And even within careers or through life, people are dealing with a lot of stuff and a lot of pain, you know, and I want to be there to be able to pray for them and be there for them as a big brother or as a friend. And so even when I step on sets, it's the same thing. I'm going like, we meet everybody for a reason. I feel like we're all part of a family. And so I never would downgrade anybody or look at anybody like I'm better than this or better than that. You can learn from everyone that you work with and who you meet. And we all meet everybody for a reason. So for me, I want to spread that God love and that kindness, you know, God's love and his righteousness. And that's very important to me. So, yeah. And when I was doing it, it wasn't like I just went to church and was like, yo, I'm about to be a youth pastor. Nah, when I was through my ups and downs, you know what I mean? And what I was going through, I was in the church. The Lord was there for me. You know what I mean? My prayer life is very important to me, keeping my family covered in prayer. And, you know, when they go out and they have that protection of the Holy Spirit with them, and praying for my wife, praying for me and my family, and commanding my morning as I do the things that I do. That's very important to me. So that's why I decided to be a pastor. I worked in helps ministry for a long time. First, you know, just volunteering my time. I also spoke, became a motivational speaker. I was speaking all over the place. I would travel doing that. I was a stage manager at my church as well. And that was just, you know, helping out because I was like, yo, they need help with these TVs and this, that, and other, like on stage. And then that spawned into I always felt the calling to be within this to be a youth pastor, but it was like, Lord, how can I do that when, you know, I'm in the entertainment business as well? And my wife said, like, look, like, you know, why don't you be the first to do it? Because I was trying to look at anybody else that was doing it, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Let me do that, because there's so many people that I know in the industry. Like, I got friends that, you know, have committed suicide being in this industry. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or got confused through it all. And I know you know too, because you've been in the music business. You know what I'm saying? So you know exactly what I'm saying. So for me, I want to touch the heart of men and really, like, you know, really touch their heart so they can have a change and really, like, enjoy life. So yeah, that was why I do it, and I still continue to do it to have that joy. Yeah, man. And then what I got going on right now, definitely youth pastor, My Spirit Food. If you want to check us out, you know, Spirit Food Christian Center. .org. You can check us out as well. Deliciousness is a new television show that I have on MTV. We're premiering second season March 22nd. Go check that out. It's a spinoff of Ridiculousness. So shout out to my boy Rob Dyrdek. You know, this is an awesome show. Super funny. So yeah, we just got picked up for a second season. We shot 30. We were shooting it during quarantine as well. So y'all enjoy it. It's about food fails and similar to Ridiculousness. So it's cool. Yeah, man. And we got the reboot of all that as well. Got my book coming out and a whole bunch of other, like, you know, blessed things that are happening in my life as well. You can, you know, check me out at I am Kel Mitchell, you know, to get more information. Yeah.
I got one question on this side over here. I wanted to ask you, because I know it was a tough time in your life where you were dealing with shady women, man. Talk about how important it is to have found, like, your soulmate and your wife and having a strong woman in your corner.
Yeah, having, you know, I will always say having a strong woman in your corner is very important. It's very important. that foundation, that love. I love my beautiful wife. That's my best friend. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, you know, if you go, you know, if you talk to me within seconds, I'm definitely talking about my wife. You know what I mean? She gave me, you know, she gave me the upgrade. Anybody look at my phone, her picture all over it. So yeah, man, your wife has to be your best friend. This is who I pray with. This is who you know, I talk to. You know what I mean, every day. And you know, we're warriors through this, and you know, being an example for our kids. And I think it's very important that we show that Black love. You know what I mean? Like, definitely show that Black love, show Black families. And yeah, man, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Definitely appreciate your time, brother. The legendary Kel Mitchell on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. Thank you very much. Y'all hit that like button, that 5-star rating. Of course, follow him on all his various handles. Thank you for your time, brother. Salute.
No doubt, man. Y'all have a blessed one. For sure.
All right,